My biggest win with the journey has been that inner peace and just that fundamental knowing that I've got full purpose and a great deal more happiness.
That was amazing for me and actually for my whole family. Allowed us to keep this open mind on life and to open to all the opportunities.
I have so much more freedom and self-connection and health and vibrancy. I just feel more alive.
The journey helped me to understand what my emotions are, not to be scared of them.
It changed my life. It cleared all blocks and brought into my consciousness what my heart's desire was.
Now I feel my life is easier. I feel stronger, feel what I feel and find a new solution.
To be free from the burden on my shoulders. I live in the moment now and I'm open to my emotions from the highest to the lowest.
Until the journey, I didn't really know that I could get to the same depth without using any substance. It's getting easier and easier to connect to the deepest part of myself.
Probably the biggest improvement is my inner life or my inner freedom to be as myself, in myself, not being a victim of circumstances and the other people.
The journey has really been a second chance in life for me. Having permission to dive deep and find out who the real authentic me was and just to be that person has just been wonderful.
When you listen to yourself and when you really touch your soul, something magical happens.
Life is different because of the journey. I feel I have all the tools I need to face whatever life throws at me. Life has become fun.
My biggest win was healing a broken heart, and not once, many times. I would never have been able to be in the position that I am in now had it not been for the journey.
Befriending myself in really accepting who I am, that I am perfectly imperfect and I don't need fixing.
I've gained so much. So there is no one big win. If it had to be named as one thing, I would just say it's life-changing.
It's changed my world, it's changed my life, it's changed me. And it's allowed me to be open and vulnerable and completely transparent.
My biggest win since attending the Journey Intensive has been finding myself. It has been healing, transforming.
I am just so much more receptive and open to whatever God has planned for me. At the very core of me, being able to experience that peace has been priceless.
Hello, and good evening. Daniel Wagner here, signing in from Germany. I want to welcome you today to a discovery session live with Brandon Bass. It's one of these rare moments when Brandon is with us live. And I just noticed in the welcome messages that people are coming from all over the world. So just if you haven't done so yet, just let us know where you're coming in from, where you're signing in from. I'm in Germany. I know Brandon will be signing in from Greece. We got Ollie, our team member, from Finland. We got people from Sweden. And I think what's really significant about this is we got Portugal now and other messages coming through, Bulgaria. Thank you for joining us from all over the world. And I think what's significant is to notice that even if we're a global community here, that we all have similar issues and we all struggle with the same global issues, so to say. And one of them surely is stress, anxiety. And the journey has been for over 30 years now, and Brandon is the founder of the journey. For over 30 years, been one of the primary modalities to actually deal with issues like that. And today we're not just going to get some teachings from Brandon, so we're also going to get a life experience. Brandon is always very keen to give people a taste of what the journey work is like. And of course, 1 hour that we're together can't do it justice, but I hope you can have enough of an experience to get excited about what's to come. I think it's easy to say that all of us are noticing there's more fear around us and it affects us. As a matter of fact, we can't live in freedom in our greatest expression if we're feeling afraid and if we have anxiety sitting on our chest, so to say. So I want to bring Brandon on in just a minute, and I want to also say we got some very, very special gifts for you prepared, including that we will be giving away a seat of the Journey Intensive. This is our foundation seminar that pretty much everybody goes through to start their journey with the journey. And over the last 30 years, tens of thousands of people from all over the world, all walks of life, all religious backgrounds have experienced this Journey Intensive. And I look forward to raffling one place off. Brandon is one of the few body-mind healing authorities that is even mentioned in Wikipedia. People like Deepak Chopra, Tony Robbins have sang her praises, and we're grateful. We're grateful to have her with us. This is the last opportunity now during the summer. We won't have another live event till autumn. So take your time. Make sure you're in a space that is peaceful, that you have a bit of time to yourself. And yeah, brace yourself, get ready for Brandon Bass. And I want to hand over to Brandon. Welcome, Brandon. Lovely to have you here.
Thank you very much, Daniel, and a heartfelt welcome to everyone. And I hope you don't have to brace yourself, but rather just relax and open yourself. And this is an hour that you're just giving to yourself, to let your hair down, to open up, and to perhaps explore what is creating this stress in our life. What is really the root cause of the anxiety that we're feeling? And of course, we can look to the external. And our world has gone crazy in the last decade, what with COVID and the wars happening and everything happening on the world stage and the disasters happening, be they the floods that are just happening now in Texas and the wildfires that have been happening around the world. It just seems like everything has been ramped up. And I remember reading in the newspaper that during the COVID time, divorce lawyers couldn't keep up with all the demand for divorces, that people had lost their coping skills. And of course, no one had given any of us a manual. How do you deal with losing your job, going into lockdown, having to homeschool your children, and being kind of locked up together as a family and with a partner? And so these have been stressful times, full of anxiety, and you have only to look at a newspaper for it to turn it up, and it does feel as if it's been ramped up. And yet, one of the things that I've learned in the 30 years of offering the journey, even though these external circumstances for sure contribute to the anxiety and the stress that we're feeling, it is not the cause of it. You know, have you ever been in driving down the road on a highway, and you're just driving along and someone cuts you off, and out of nowhere up comes this rage. Now, that driver didn't come in the middle of the night and stick the rage there. The rage was already inside of you. And all that driver did was push your buttons, and up came the rage. And this was how these external circumstances have a way of pushing our buttons, and each of us have different buttons that get pushed. For instance, I was speaking to a mother the other day who had given birth to a child, and she was stressed beyond the max. Sleepless nights, having to deal with that, and online working, still at work, and being an at-home mom, but also working at work. And it just seemed like life was conspiring, that she was just stressed out. And yet I can remember a year ago, I was speaking to another mom who was pregnant with her 17th child. And she was glowing, joyous at being pregnant again. And she just loves being pregnant, loves having children, and she loves the mayhem, having this huge school of children around her, and the chaos and the craziness and the love and just all of it. She just thrives on it. And so different circumstances, yes. One's got 17 children, is completely in a state of flow and grace and loving it. One's got one, stressed out to the max. So then you have to look, is it the external that's causing all this? Or is there something inside of me that may be the emotional root cause of what is causing the stress? You know, one of the things that science has found is that when you feel a strong emotion and you're at the peak of a strong emotion and you shut it down, a quantifiable biochemistry is released into your bloodstream, and it will go to certain cell receptors and block those cells, rendering those cells incapable of communicating with the rest of the cells in the body. And if over time illness happens, well, it's likely to happen in the place where the cells are blocked. Conversely, what is also known to be true is that when we feel our emotions very naturally, very openly, like a child does, you know, they just feel an emotion, it comes, it goes. Well, our cell receptors stay open. And so, what science has found is when we have that strong emotion, something happens and we freeze, we shut down. In that shutdown, when that biochemistry is released, it not only goes to a specific cellular location in your body, but when those cells die and are replaced by the next cell generation of cells, that internal programming, the emotions you felt, the words that you spoke, the feelings that you were having, the unspoken words, all of that you were feeling at the time that you shut down, that programming gets passed on from one cell generation to the next cell generation. And so that programming gets buried inside your body and gets passed on from one cell generation to the next. So I'm sure many of you may have heard that over 30 years ago, I was diagnosed with a basketball-sized tumor. And when I was in the doctor's office, she said, you know, it probably started as one cell when you were 8 years old. And that cell replicated. And, you know, by the time I got to the doctors, they were replicating exponentially and quite at a rapid pace. And I found myself to look like I was 6 months pregnant, although I knew I wasn't. And so these emotional patterns, they get stored inside of our body, and then some external something happens, pushes our button, and up comes, as I said, with the road rage, or up comes the fear, or up comes the sadness, or there's hurt that happens. And so even though the external circumstance isn't the cause of it, they certainly were the trigger for it. Now, one of the things is the journey right now, my own story of healing in only 6.5 weeks' time, without drugs or surgery. Part of the gift of my own healing, life-changing journey is I found a means for all of us in a very direct, practical, gentle, but very powerful way to go on a journey inside your body, to get direct access to these buried cell memories, to open up and allow all that programming that got stored there and shut down there to not only be released and let go of, but you understand what happened to you at the time that it got stored in your life. And you go through a deep process of forgiveness, where you're forgiving the other person, you're forgiving life, you're forgiving God, you're forgiving yourself, so that you let go of that whole consciousness, that whole programming that was previously stored inside your body, so that when new cells are born, they're born devoid of that old consciousness as new regenerative cells. As a matter of fact, if you go onto the CDC's website, the Center for Disease Control's website, buried deep in there, it says that 85% of all illness has an emotional cause. And the reason it can say that is because of all the work that's going on in the field of cellular healing. And so, for instance, right now, there are 3 hospitals in Israel where, let's say you have a heart operation and you've had a heart attack or whatever. Of course, you're going to go to have it dealt with by a medical doctor. But after you're finished with whatever that treatment is, you then go for a week long into a recovery center where you undergo the journey work because they want to get to the emotional root cause. What co-created you to have? What was the stress that caused you to have a heart attack? What were the cell memories that were part of the co-creation of the heart attack? Same thing is true in the oncology unit, where you may undergo all kinds of cancer treatment, but at the end, you will undergo a week-long immersion in which they're using the journey to get to the emotional root cause, to the old cell memories. And they're finding, and they're actually shooting a documentary on this, that science has then followed what happens with people who clear it at a cellular level, that then the cancer isn't returning, it isn't metastasizing again. Same thing is true with the heart attacks, that that's not returning. Also, they have a 3rd hospital where they're in the multiple sclerosis and fibromyalgia that they're working with. And those particular diseases are thought to be crippling and degenerative. And yet people are beginning, after undergoing treatment and then undergoing the journey, that they're getting out of their wheelchairs. They're embracing life again. So it's a very powerful gift you give yourself when you go on a journey inside your body to get to these cell memories, and not only get to the cell memories, but to go through a deep process of release and letting go and understanding and forgiveness. So when new cells are born, they're born devoid of that old programming. Now, while I was undergoing my own healing journey, I was deeply immersed in this whole field of alternative healing, complementary medicine. And Dr. Deepak Chopra at that time was not the guru that he's become today. He was a chief surgeon general working in a hospital in Boston, and he did a radical thing as a medical doctor. He decided that he would investigate and do case studies on people who had healed without medical intervention, without drugs or surgery. Because he said, we know enough about what causes people to get ill and what causes people to die. He said, I want to know what causes people to heal. And after amassing hundreds and ultimately thousands of case studies, he found that those people only had 2 qualities in common. One was that through some act of grace, they actually got access to this that he called the infinite intelligence, the part of you that makes your heart beat, your eyes shine, and your hair grow. And the second thing that they had in common was that through some act of grace or spontaneous event, they actually got access to this that he called the cell memory. And if somehow they were guided by this infinite intelligence into a part of their body where those old buried cell memories were and went through some sort of process of release, when the next generation of cells were born, they were born devoid of that old programming as new regenerative cells. Now, I was certified in so many different fields of alternative healing, and I had not only studied with Chopra, but I'd actually seen the case studies with my own eyes. And the truth is, you can know all the science on the planet. You can understand how cell memories replicate, how these emotions get stored and buried inside of our bodies. You can look and see that spontaneously people somehow opened into that infinite intelligence, into this vast field of awareness, of love that is your essence. And that somehow, spontaneously, they were guided by it into the body. But unless you have a method, it's no more than a very inspirational possibility, a vision of possibility. And that's where I stood when I was catapulted on a radical, life-changing healing journey. And part of the gift of that healing journey is I found a means for all of us in a very real and very direct way to get access to the vast, boundless presence of your own soul, of the enlightened awareness that is your essence, and to be guided by that to these cell locations, to uncover what's stored inside you, and to go through a deep process of release and letting go, understanding, and ultimately forgiveness, so that when the new cells are born, they're born devoid of that old consciousness. Now, I would love to have a chance to take you into the full 2-day immersive journey intensive and really take you through that right now, like rolling up our sleeves and diving in. But tonight, we don't have time for that. But what I would like you to do is just do a little divine experiment with me right now. And just, if you would, let's take a nice deep breath in together. Letting it out. And taking a moment just to close your eyes. And just taking a deep breath in of openness and breathing that into your room. And the willingness to explore and just do a little divine experiment with yourself. And trust. Trust that your body, your soul, actually wants you to heal. It wants you to find peace inside. And so breathing trust in yourself, in your body, in your being. Breathing trust into the room. And right now, we're going to let our awareness cast back let your awareness drift back over the last days, weeks, and months, and just go to a time where you got triggered, where somehow someone said something, some circumstance happened, some upsetting news came, something you didn't expect happened out of left field, where something stressful happened. And your reaction was either to shut down, withdraw, deny it was happening, run away from it, push it away, lash out. And you had a stressful response. You had a stressful reaction. So let your awareness drift back to some recent time where you had something stressful happen, where you had a stressful reaction. And you know what I'm talking about, where you got triggered, where a strong emotion arose and you blasted out, or you got upset and fearful and you just shut down. You got hurt in a way that you shut down and withdrew. You kind of tried to turn it around inside your head after you shut down and deny it or change it or to make it into something positive, but you weren't even buying your own tricks on yourself. Just go back to a time where you had a stressed reaction and bring that into your awareness right now and step into that picture and actually feel what it felt like to react stressfully. Feel what your body did. It either lashed out, shut down, it withdrew. Perhaps you ran away. Maybe your mind went wild. But just go into that specific time where you had a stressful reaction and step into it and feel what it felt like to have that stressful reaction. Now let's roll the cameras back to that millisecond before you reacted stressfully. And there was a drive to react in the way that you did. There was an impulse to either shout or get hurt or shut down or withdraw. There was some little tiny impulse inside you. So go from the actual stressful reaction, roll the cameras back to that drive to react in that way, and then roll the cameras back to that moment just before you had that impulse to react, and just open up and stretch time. And what were you really feeling prior to that impulse to react stressfully? Just in that moment prior to your reaction, just open up. And what were you really feeling at that time? And just open with that. And even if you're not sure what you were feeling, what might that feeling have been? And just allowing it to come flooding. And if that feeling were actually a surface reaction, and there were actually a deeper feeling inside of that more surface feeling, what might that deeper feeling be? Just opening with that, allowing it. If there were a deeper feeling beneath that more surface, feeling, what might that deeper feeling be? And as you keep opening and exploring and allowing and surrendering, if there were an even deeper feeling in the core of that feeling, what might that feeling be? And just allowing it, giving permission to yourself to be allowed to feel what's there. And just surrounding whatever this feeling is with your own acceptance, with your own love, and speaking out loud into your room what this deeper feeling is. There was the surface feeling, and then a deeper feeling, and yet an even deeper feeling. Just whisper out loud into your room what this deeper feeling is. And even if you're not sure, what might it have been? Taking a nice deep breath in, letting it out, and bathing it in acceptance. And we can open our eyes right now. And if you kind of played along, you may have discovered that the emotion causing your reaction, there was a stressful reaction. But then when you rolled the cameras back, there was that impulse to react in that way, to defend or fight or withdraw. And prior to that impulse, there was an emotion that was there. And as you started to open deeper, there are even deeper feelings and deeper feelings. Now, this was just an experiment because I wanted you to begin this exploration of really listening and being present to your body and to the kinds of the reactions, one thing, but it's born from deeper emotions. And if I had to describe in the nutshell, what is the journey? The best way I could describe it is to say that we, all of us, come into this life as this vast, radiant, shining field of love, of peace, a shining diamond, an enlightened awareness where we feel ourselves to be part of everything, all of life taking place in this that is our own self. As a matter of fact, science has found when you are newly born and in the first moments, days, weeks of your life as a newborn baby, you feel yourself to be this vast field of oneness that's so vast that when mother's hands come before your eyes, the baby feels mother's hand is actually being part of itself. Everything, all of life is happening in this field of enlightened awareness that you came in as. But unfortunately, through the course of life's pains and trials, this natural feeling of being at one with life, of all of life occurring within you, as this field of love, of peace, of light, it gets covered over with a series of painful shutdowns. And it could be something simple, like you're 3.5 years old and you're crying about something. And your mother says, come, we've got to dry our tears. We've got to get to the nursery school. And the little you gets it. Oh, I'm not allowed to feel. At least not the tears, not the one with the tears. And the first involuntary, automatic shutdown happens. Now, these layers upon layers of shutdowns happen all our life long. I can remember I grew up in a very domestically, violently challenged household. And part of the way I used to escape was I used to escape into my children's books. And I used to love to read. Can I escape into my fantasy world? And of course, I became a good reader and a good speller. And so I was chosen for a contest in the United States at the age of 8 years old called a spelling bee. And I was representing the 3rd grade in our elementary school. And there were all the other schools from the county coming. So there were hundreds of us in this big auditorium. All the schools, all the teachers, all the students, and all the parents. And so there was this big, stadium kind of auditorium. And I was standing on stage and I had already spelled 3 difficult words. And then they gave me one of the easiest words in the English language, the word fleet. Now, I'd never seen the word fleet in any of my children's books, but I had seen the word flea, a little insect. And I said, F-L-E-A-T. And the whole audience was hushed. And all at once, it erupted into laughter. Now, no one had given me a manual. How do you deal with mass humiliation in front of all your friends, all the students, all the parents, all the teachers? And I had no coping skills. And I looked to my mom, who was sitting in the 3rd row, for her support. And she looked back at me like I was the greatest disappointment in her life. And she just shook her head and went, and it was like this wall just came slamming down inside of me. And I retreated to the back of the stage where all the other losers were. And that day I decided, I'm so stupid. People will only ever laugh at me. I'll never be good at anything that I do. I'm just a laughing stock. I'll never succeed at anything. I'm not smart enough. And that shutdown happened. I can remember when I was 16 years old, I had my first crush on a guy, and I tried to impress him. And you know what that's like when you try to impress someone. And I made a total, utter fool of myself. And I watched the first love of my life literally running out of my life. And I was running after him. And that day I decided, I'm so unattractive. I'm just not lovable. I'll never attract someone who would be in love with me, that I'm attracted to. I'm just not worthy of love. I don't deserve love. And it's like this, layer upon layer upon layer. Then when we all get to be adults, and it doesn't matter how many countries I go to, we have offered live journey seminars in 39 countries in the world, and the work is translated into 22 languages. And with every country I go to, it doesn't matter what the country is or what their cultural beliefs are, their religious beliefs, everybody has learned that as an adult, it's like we put this mask on, this hardened veneer, and we present it to the world. No, I've got my act together. I'm reliable. I'm dependable. You can count on me. And so we present this mask to the world. And then life gives up a wake-up call. Now, this wake-up call can come in so many different forms. It can come in the form of a loss of a loved one, or an Iraq or Middle Eastern war. It can come in the form of a COVID shutdown and an inability to cope. In my case, it came in the form of a serious illness, where for one moment, you end up cracking through this mask that you're presenting to the world. And spontaneously, you end up opening down through the layers of the lies, the shutdowns, the pain, the limitations. And spontaneously, you end up opening into your own soul, into this vast field of love, of light, of peace that is your essence. And you realize it's been there all along. Only like me, you bought into all the layers that covered it. And then, if you're very lucky, you fall so in love with this truth inside, with the peace that's here, that like me, you will do anything to clear whatever shuts you down, whatever masks that are here, whatever pain that is here, whatever stress or trauma, whatever limitations or shutdowns. You'll do anything. When I was on tour for 25 years with the journey, I got a journey process every single week. I never wanted to be so arrogant as to say, I've got it all handled. I know it's a privilege to clear whatever shuts me down, whatever holds me back on any level of being. And so, if I had to say, what is the journey in a nutshell? It's about getting real. It's about cracking through this false veneer, this mask that we present to the world. It's about opening down through the layers of the pain, the lies, the shutdowns, the limitations, and ultimately opening into that infinite intelligence, that part of you that makes your heart beat, your eyes shine, and your hair grow. And it's at that deepest level that you're guided by your own soul inside your body to specific cellular locations. And you end up not only uncovering the old cell memories, releasing that old stored pain, the shutdowns, all the words, all the things that were not said, and going through a process ultimately of understanding what took place to you at the time that that cell memory was there, and ultimately forgiving yourself, life, God, the other people, so that when new cells are born, they're born devoid of that old consciousness as new regenerative cells. So that is the journey in a nutshell. And even though I can't take you into that full immersive experience where you'll learn how to open into your own soul, into this enlightened awareness that is your essence, I can take you into a little process that I call the gentle welcome right now, where you have a chance to go inside your body and really befriend your body and to welcome it to reveal what it's here to reveal today. And yes, it's just baby steps towards beginning your journey, but it will allow you to begin this journey of really listening to yourself and opening with the deeper issues that are stored inside yourself. So if you'd like to join me again, we'll do another divine experiment. Let's all take a nice deep breath in again. And sighing it out. And once again, closing your eyes. And just letting your heart be as wide as the world. Wide enough to welcome all the feelings that live inside of you. That's how vast this vast open sky of all acceptance is. And it's spacious and vast, free and endless in front. It's boundlessly vast and spacious behind, infinitely free and endless to all sides, boundless below, sky-like above. And we're just resting now as a vast open sky of all acceptance. And now let's turn our gaze inside of our bodies. And you know, our bodies, they're like these containers full of all kinds of feelings, all kinds of emotions. And you know, our emotions, they're like little kids. Some of our emotions, they're very loud and attention-seeking, like a child always trying to get your attention. Some of our feelings are more tentative. They're kind of shy and scared. And some of your emotions, you've buried them so deeply and rejected them so many times that, like a rejected little child, they hide behind closed doors and underneath lids. And so welcoming right now all the feelings that live inside of you, knowing your body will never give you something you're not ready to face. Your own soul knows what you're here to face. And it only gives you this, that you're ready to feel. And so welcoming all the feelings, and you might even say you're sorry to the emotions that live inside of you for having pushed them away and buried them and denied them and rejected them for so long. And you might even say to yourself, today, I'm going to be present. I'm going to be open. I'm going to listen for once. Really allow whatever feelings are here that wish to be revealed, to give rise to themselves. And then right now, locating a part of your body where there may be a little tension or stress or holding or hiding or contraction going on, someplace where there's some little tension or stress or contraction. Locate that area right now. And take a deep breath in of acceptance. And flooding that area with acceptance. Letting it be softened and marinated and tenderized. And as you open with this area, just asking if there were a feeling here. I wonder what it might be. It might be as quiet as a whisper. But if there were a feeling, what might it be? And just softly letting whatever feeling is there. Or if this area could speak and had words, what might this area say right now to you? Give it a voice. If it could speak and had words, what's it saying right now? Or perhaps a picture's appearing out of nowhere. If that's happening, step into it. How are you feeling in that picture? Or maybe there's a lid somewhere that's kind of held over it, whatever feeling, like you can feel it, that maybe there's some block or a lid. Let's assume that there might be a lid here. And you know the way you can peel the lid off a can of peanuts? Well, taking hold of this lid right now and lifting it off, what's hiding here? How does it make you feel emotionally? Just welcoming whatever's here. Also, whatever's not here. So welcome. Taking in a deep breath in of acceptance. And now flooding this area with acceptance. Letting it be softened and marinated and tenderized. And now come to neutral inside of yourself. And now locating another area of your body where there may be a little tension or stress or holding or hiding or contraction going on. Locate that area right now. Take a deep breath in of acceptance, flooding that area with acceptance, letting it be softened and tenderized and opened. And if there were a feeling starting to arise now out of that area, I wonder what that feeling might be. I've got vulnerability showing up here, but I don't know what you've got showing up. Just allowing whatever's here, bathing whatever's going on in acceptance. Or if this area could speak and had words, what would it say right now? How do the words make you feel emotionally? Just welcoming whatever's here and also whatever's not here. Or if there's a picture, step into it. How are you feeling in the picture? Or if there's some sort of lid over this area, take hold of the lid right now and lift it off. What's hiding here? How does it make you feel emotionally? Welcoming whatever's here, whatever's not here. Taking a deep breath in of acceptance and flooding this area with acceptance and coming to neutral inside of yourself. And finding yet a third area where there may be a little tension or stress or holding or hiding going on. Locate that area. Take a deep breath in of acceptance, flooding that area with acceptance, letting it be softened and opened and marinated and tenderized. And if there were a feeling starting to arise out of this area, what might that feeling be? Might be quiet as a whisper. But if there were a feeling, what's arising now? And if it could speak, had words, what would it say right now? Give it a voice. And as you listen to the words, how do they make you feel emotionally? Or perhaps it looks like there's a door that's closed somewhere. Go ahead, open the door now. What's hiding here? How does it make you feel emotionally? Welcoming whatever's here, whatever's not here. Taking a deep breath in of acceptance and flooding that area with acceptance. And come to neutral. And then saying to your body, and if it feels appropriate, and only you can know this, you might like to make a promise to yourself that you're going to begin this journey of listening to yourself, being present to what's going on, allowing a bath of acceptance to bathe whatever's here, welcoming whatever's arising. So if that feels appropriate, you can make that promise to yourself, that vow to yourself, to begin this journey of being present to yourself, to welcoming emotions, even if all we're doing is taking baby steps. You will begin to befriend your body. Taking a nice deep breath in, letting it out, and awareness remains vast and spacious, infinite and free in front of you. It remains spacious and vast and open behind, vast and infinite, open to all sides, vast inside, vast outside, no out or in. Just this vast, open field of all acceptance. Taking another nice deep breath in, letting it out, and opening your eyes now. And just opening your eyes now. And if the eyes have not opened yet, you can open your eyes now. Beautiful. So let's take another nice deep breath in, letting it out. And perhaps some of you began to feel certain emotions that were stored inside and began to realize that what's happening externally, these emotions were already inside. They're actually stored inside your body. And you've begun this process of befriending your emotions. And I'd love it if you'd be willing to share in the chat box some of the feelings that arose for you, and just type it in. What are some of the feelings that came up for you? Because these feelings are there and they're stored inside your cells, and they're actually getting passed on from one cell generation to the next and the next. And what the journey will allow you to do is to go on a journey to access your own infinite intelligence and get access to these cell memories, because these emotions are connected to specific cell memories, and to go through your radical, life-changing clearing presence so that when new cells are born, they're born devoid of that. So I'm hoping you've had a chance to write down in the chat box some of the emotions that came up. And Daniel, if you'd be willing to share some of the feelings that people are sharing.
Yeah, Brandon, the first one is Liz writing fear and sadness.
Yeah, yeah. And is anyone else beginning to write in some of the emotions that came up?
Yes. Nadine writes shame, rejection, and fear.
Yeah, those are very deep emotions, and shame and rejection and fear. You can imagine how when you get triggered in a normal everyday situation and those emotions are buried there, it's going to create a stress response reaction. an unhealthy reaction,
Hmm.
and that gets triggered. Yeah. Some of these emotions are very deep. Are there any other emotions?
Yes, yeah. Diana says, being alone, nobody taking care of me.
Ah,
Monica's written sadness, not being accepted as I was.
yeah. These are all very deep. Usually, those are quite deep down through the layers, that they're uncovering this level of depth of a feeling that's happening.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's a beautiful invitation for us to begin this journey with ourselves, to really value ourselves enough to want to learn how to open into our own soul and at that deepest level, how to be guided on a journey inside your body to cellular locations to clear this so that when you're in life, you're feeling a much greater level of peace, a connection to the self, feeling more aligned with who you really are. And I know, Daniel, that you're going to be sharing some ways that people can move forward and start their journey with the journey and in themselves. And so I'm going to turn it over to you. And I pray that you will listen to the invitation that came to you today. You joined this little, mini seminar, not because I invited you or Daniel invited you, because your soul said, it's time to come home. It's time to start living from the truth of who you really are, from the freedom that's here, the joy that's here. It's time to clear whatever blocks you on any level of being so that you can live as a full expression of your true self. And so that invitation has come from your own soul, not me. And I pray that you value yourself enough to listen to your heart's calling. And so I'll turn you over to Daniel, and perhaps he can share with you some ways that you can move forward in listening to this call home.
Thank you so much, Brandon. And thank you, everybody, for not just being here, but sharing vulnerably what you experienced. And I said at the beginning that this is a very special occasion that Brandon is here live with us, but also that we have one more live event that we put in especially because of the current world situation. And we want to make this invitation to join us at the Journey Intensive, our foundational seminar, very, very easy for you. I'm with the journey for almost 10 years now, and to say it's been life-changing is something that is very easily said, but it has at all levels been fundamental to the quality of my life today. From the work I do to the relationship I experience to how I relate to my children, everything has been impacted dramatically because I learned the simple tools that Brandon today gave us a little taster of. And the Journey Intensive has been there for over 30 years. And tens of thousands of people have been learning two fundamental processes that once you know them, they will be with you for the rest of your life. And this is the journey, the emotional journey and the physical journey. And the Journey Intensive is a 2-day weekend event where you can learn those modalities, those little processes, and you can, if you want, then take them into your life. And sometimes even on the first process, big shifts happen, big healing happens, big clearing happens. Sometimes it takes a few iterations, but I really want to invite you to experience them. So the Journey Intensive, when I found it first, all the way back in 2016, I had to fly to Prague. I had to book myself in a hotel. It was a big affair. But for the last 5 years, journey events since COVID are now online. That means you can experience them in the comfort of your home. It makes it so much easier. And we have found, and to our surprise, that the experiences people are having are as deep, if not even deeper. Partly, I guess, because we're in the comfort of our own home. But the power of the teachings, the power of the experiences is similar, if not deeper. So the event you can attend from wherever you are in the world, and we will have live teachings there. breakout sessions, experiences. And you can learn a little bit more about the Journey Intensive. I will be giving you a link in a minute as well to check it out. But we have prepared a very, very unique offer that we've never done before. We've given so many additional incentives for you to experience it. And I want to share my screen. I hope that works from the technology here. Oh yeah, I can see that's working. And I just want to run through a little bit of what we're doing here. Can I just have a quick thumbs up of something you can see my screen right now? Can you just give me a sign if you can see my screen? Yes. Okay. Thank you, Christina. I can see that. So first up, we have a live event that's coming up just in a couple of weeks. This is at the end of July, just 2 weeks from now. And the first thing I would like to ask our team to, yeah, there will be answer a time for questions as well, but I'd like to ask our team to put the link to the Journey Intensive into the chat. But the first thing that I want to say today is that we make the Journey Intensive a 2-day live event available for just 97 euros. It is normally 297. That means you save 200 euros if you take an advantage of this offer today from this webinar. We have the first 10 seats reserved at this extremely low price, 97 euros. And this is including for the 2-day event. Plus, we added 12 incredible bonuses to this that I really hope will make you very excited. The first thing is that Brandon has written a best-selling book called The Journey: How to Heal Your Life and Set Yourself Free. It sold over 1 million copies. We will be giving you a free ebook. So this is literally a PDF you can print out and read at your own leisure. You also get the process scripts, so the actual scripts to the process work are in there as well. You get access to this. Brandon's partner Kevin has written an incredible book called Light in the Heart of Darkness. This is how to use the journey to heal from depression and anxiety. Kevin himself was afflicted for over 2 decades from depression, and the journey has helped him heal. And I think over 3 decades now, he's free from depression. So these are all bonuses, by the way. The Journey Intensive is just 97, a 2-day event online on the 26th, 27th. We also want to give you access to one of Brandon's meditations, the Healing Breath meditation. I think you experienced today Brandon's presence and her power to guiding you into stillness or guiding you into your body. The Healing Breath meditation is something you can use immediately to help you relax instantly. And we also created a small course, which is called the Abundance Course, Welcome Healthy Abundance. It's a video course we normally sell at 99 euros, and that's also a bonus that you can get access to today. You just have to go to thejourneyintensive.com and you get all of these bonuses with your ticket for the Journey Intensive. But that's not all, as they say. We also want to make sure that you have an opportunity to speak to one of our experienced practitioners, and you get a courtesy call, which is literally a check-in call you can have with them, that might help you make a decision on how to carry on with the journey or after the Journey Intensive. We also offer a bonus additional call after the event. It's really important after a deeply moving event like the Journey Intensive to have an integration time, integration call. So there is a 1-hour post-event support call available to you as well as part of our bonus stack here. And you can even have a private one-to-one call with an accredited journey practitioner. This is particularly if you feel that you want to go deeper with the work. We have different ways that you can carry on. That is also absolutely free for you to available. The 2-day event has got an additional bonus day, the Advanced Skills bonus day. That's on Monday, the 28th of July. That's an optional day. Most people attend it. This is an incredible day where you learn even more tools to clear major blocks and unearth what's been holding you back. That's also a bonus here. And once you have done the Journey Intensive, you actually qualify for our next level retreats. And in the Summer Madness offer, you can actually save up to 1,294 euros. And you can even have an additional clarity call. And then there are two more, which are really unusual. The private community, that's also something we're really proud of. We want people to have access to a community that's not just on Facebook, but also in case you can't make that event on the 26th, 27th, if you buy today and you realize that you can't make that event, and as long as you give us a day's notice, you can also book for our later events later in the year, because life gets in the way. As you said, life sometimes has other plans for us. And there's one thing we've never done before, and we were debating in the company if that even makes sense, but we want to actually give you a money back guarantee. I don't think it's ever been done on an event like this, but we know now after 30 years and tens of thousands of people going through the Journey Intensive that for some people it's not the experience they expected. For some, it's not the teaching they had hoped for. And we want to make sure that only people who actually love the work and have an experience join us. So if for whatever reason, after day one or even after the second day, you're feeling that this is not at all what you were looking for, just let us know, and we, without question asked, will refund you your contribution of 97 euros. So if you have any questions to any of that, please feel free to get in touch with us. In a few minutes' time, actually, we will be sending an email out to all of you with the explanation of everything that's available here. And if you're ready now, I would invite you, and I would really say this is an opportunity to learn an incredible modality in a very beautiful 2-day event. Just scan the QR code here on the screen with your mobile phone or go to thejourneyintensive.com. I would also like to ask our team to put that link into the chat right now. I can't see the chat at the moment because I'm sharing my screen here, but use that link right now and see if you can get one of these 10 places at 97 euros. We will be putting the price up most likely tomorrow morning when the office opens again. But use the opportunity right now. It's never been easier to learn the journey, to learn those two important tools, not just anxiety that is crippling so many people's lives. We have so many people that after a single journey process can let go of burden that has been with them for decades. It's very effective also in healing trauma, all sorts of experiences people have been struggling with. And it also is just a way to become present and to become still and go deep into who you truly are. Some people you look at the journey as a spiritual path. Some people look at it as an emotional healing modality. Whatever you call it, you need to experience it. That's the biggest invitation ever. We've been for over 30 years now making an invitation to people to heal their lives on all levels. And this is the invitation here today. So I will stop sharing my screen. If there are any questions to any of what happened today, we'll do our best to answer them. If you have any questions about the offer, please let me know as well. Otherwise, simply go to thejourneyintensive.com. These events do fill up. We have a very high ratio of trainers to presenters at this event. That means you always get looked after. That means we have maximum 100 people at these journey intensives. So these events normally fill up because Brendan only runs a few of them every year. So if there are any questions on the page, if you go to thejourneyintensive.com, there is also an opportunity to sign up. If you're dialing in for Australia, for example, we have also events in different time zones that you can access here as well. If you can't make July, absolutely no worries. Lock in this best ever price right now. Get your Journey Intensive ticket for just 97 euros. And if for whatever reason you can't make it, let us know at least a week before the event, and you can rebook for any of our later events in the year. Great. Question. I am from Netherlands. Those 2 days, will that be on the day or here in the night? No, this is CET, Central European Time. We start at 9 a.m. On Saturday. And so they're both like 9 to 5, 9 to 6 full days on Saturday and Sunday. And as I said, the third day, the bonus day, is an optional day. But of course, you have access to that as well. You also have access to all the recordings for weeks after the event. So if you want to re-watch some of the teachings, then that's an opportunity as well. Great. If there are any questions, that would be a great moment. Otherwise, please just use the link in the chat window, thejourneyintensive.com. And I really hope you had a good experience. Nadine, you have your hand up. Feel free to unmute yourself, Nadine, and let me know how I can assist. What's going on?
Yeah, I'm on the booking page right now, and actually it says that you could pay via PayPal, but if I click on the button to sign up, it doesn't give me the option.
Okay, thank you for pointing that out. Could you kindly, Nadine, just give us your email address or send me your email address right here? You can
Yeah,
do
I
it in
will.
the chat, and then I'll ask our support team to reach out to you. And we definitely can guarantee the offer for tonight, the price for tonight, yeah?
All right, thanks.
Thanks, Nadine, for checking that out. And thank you for pointing it out. We can hopefully fix that by tomorrow. Any other questions? Please do let me know. Otherwise, I want to thank you for your time this evening. I know that many people have just joined in the last few minutes of the call, which tells me maybe there was a time zone glitch. We had many registrations for tonight. So if you just had the first moment when Brandon was guiding you in these two beautiful exercises and you felt something was opening, give yourself the opportunity, give yourself those 2 days. It's maybe the most important thing you can do these days for yourself. As the world seems to be going crazier by the minute, it's very important we find a still point, we find a place inside ourselves that we know we can come home to, and where we can find peace and find peace of mind in whatever goes on. And the journey has been very instrumental in helping me achieve that and thousands of others. So take the opportunity. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Michaela, for thanking us. I want to thank the team for being here and hosting, Ollie, and of course, Chris and Brandon for taking our time this evening, for being with us. And yeah, any questions you may have, just shoot an email to support@thejourney.com. Let me just quickly check what Chris is saying. Oh, yes. Chris is reminding me we were actually saying we're gonna raffle off a free place tonight. So thank you, Chris, for last minute chat here. So everybody who's still in the call, we're now gonna do a prize draw, and one of you will win a free place at the Journey Intensive. We have a randomizer here, so we're gonna do this randomly, and let me just see if the team is coming back to me with that name. Ollie, will you be doing the pulling of the name, please, from the random pool, and just let me know so we can do a little celebration, little happy dance here. Okay. So let me just see if the person's still here. So the lucky winner is Trillo-chan. Trillo-chan, you're still here? Trillo-chan, where are you? And all this. Trillo-chan, are you still here? If you are, just unmute yourself and say hello. Are you here, Trillo-chan? I can still see him in the list here of people. So, yeah, the winner of a free Journey Intensive place is Trillo-chan. So we're gonna reach out to you, Trillo-chan. Thank you everyone for being here. Thank you, team, for reminding me that I slipped that in. And can we make sure, Ollie, that you copy Nadine's email address, and we have that ready to talk to her about her booking?
Yes.
Wonderful, thank you. Okay, couldn't hear Trillo-chan. I asked him to unmute, but looks like he's muted. All right, thank you,
Yes,
everybody.
I'm here.
Oh, he's here.
Yeah.
He made it. Where are you? Where are you, my friend?
I was there, but I actually gone off the camera. Thank you.
Okay. Ah, here he is. Hello, Trillo-chan. Very nice to
Thank
see
you.
you. Thank you for joining us tonight, and thank you for sharing as well.
Yeah, many thanks. I have a number of issues. I'm sure they'll get resolved by going through the program.
Wonderful. Thank you for being here. So if you could kindly, Trilochan, just send us your email address, because we don't have that here.
My email address is
yeah, if you just send it to us in the chat, that would be great.
Just 1 second. I'll do that. Just 1 second. I'll do it right now.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, it's trilochan.riyadh@gmail.com.
Oh, yes. Let me just see where you wrote that. Here in the main chat, I can see that. Thank you so much. Ollie, can you make sure you copy that out? Yeah, I know we're saving the chat anyway.
Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. So, in case you haven't done so, you can also scan the QR code that I shared earlier from the Journey Intensive. So that is also available. And of course, you can go to thejourneyintensive.com and book your place now as well. Thank you so much for being here.
Daniel, just one comment before I go. It's the first time I've won something like this.
Oh, wonderful. May it be the beginning of a beautiful journey.
Yeah. When you said I had some intuition that I would win, but I have won it, it's wonderful.
Oh, cool. That's really nice to hear. Nice to hear. I leave that on the screen if you want to scan the code and take advantage of this offer. Trilochan, have a beautiful, beautiful journey intensive. Also, Nadine, we're going to sort it out. Everybody else who booked as well. Thank you for taking the time this evening. Be blessed, be safe, and I look forward to seeing you very, very soon. All the best, and thank you. Thank you, Chris.